Hi, my name's Pam. I'm a member of NERP, which is North Eastern Region Permaculture Group, situated north of Melbourne, and also Local Food Connect. And seeing that many of us are not feeling comfortable about having a lot of people wandering through our garden during the COVID epidemic, we've decided we might try and do some videos of what's happening in our garden. So initially, got pickies of the chooks who are molting at the moment, so I'm not getting a lot of eggs. Surrounding their pen, I've got some medicinal herbs and some food that they can pick at for themselves, or it's close handy for me to give to them. So I've got some lavender, which is repellent to a variety of bugs. I pick that off and throw it into their nesting boxes when I change their straw, or just throw some in there just to make it smell nice because I like it. Down here I've got some parsley and also some warrigal greens over towards the back. They're not very keen on either of them, but anyway, I throw it in there and they can scratch it round, it becomes compost. Up here I've got wormwood, which is obviously for worms, that's what the name is, and I break some off and throw that in their nest as well. Further round I have kale, and over summer, right up until a couple of weeks ago, they have been absolutely loving kale. Well, they've just gone off it. At the moment they're preferring the long grassy weeds that are around the place, so I tie everything up in bundles and hang it off a post in there. I think there's some kale hanging up in there, and they peck away at it. In summertime there was not a piece of that kale would have been left in view, but really I wanted to talk about the annual garden. Now, the annual garden in permaculture terms would be in Zone 1. It's an area where I walk to once, twice, maybe 3 times a day. So although this is sort of the far corner of my garden, I'm here every day. So I decided that this winter, because this is sort of on the south side of my potting shed, I'd put leafy greens and see how they went. Everything is in wicking beds, I think I said that, because there's virtually no topsoil up here. I'm in Diamond Creek, high on a hill, and any soil that may have been here would have been very poor, and it's probably gone down to the bottom of the valley and somebody else is enjoying it now. So I've got lettuces that are just about to come up, about to be start harvesting. I do loose leaf lettuce, a bit of coriander. There's a cosmos there that's planted itself, and I'll leave it there because that will encourage beneficial insects with its pollen and nectar. And in front there's some tiny new spring onions. The next bed is my spring onion bed, and as you can see I cut it off close to the soil and let it grow again. It's been quite ravaged with the scissors over the last few days, so there's not a lot left. I've got a remaining basil which I've left for seed. The last lot I dried had virtually no seed in it, so I think I might be a little bit late for that. And here we have more leafy greens. This is the bed that I'm picking from the moment, and there's some beetroot that's just sort of coming up. Hopefully that will start producing a bulb underneath it soon. In the next bed, although this is my annual area, I've got these onions, what they call Egyptian walking onions, and they are a form of bunching onion or shallot. They'll grow a number of bulbs at the base, but instead of flowers at the top they grow bulbils which get heavy. The stem falls over and they walk across your garden, and you end up with loads of small walking onions everywhere. So they're good value. They're a nice permaculture sort of plant. There's a couple of lettuces that have self-seeded themselves there, and some carrots. Now I always grow my carrots along with radishes. By the time the radishes are ready, to pull, the carrots are up. So I grow the carrots under the shade of the radish. At this time of year, it's pretty cool, so you don't really need them, the radishes, but I think it keeps the soil a little bit more moist and you get a better set. That set actually didn't work very well. I think I just found some old seed and planted them, and I didn't get a good set because I guess they'd run out of eggs. Over the back here is my rosemary, and down here is a self-watering pot that just has bits and pieces in it that I've pulled out from other parts of the garden. Right next to it is the little hothouse, little cold frame, or whatever you like to call it. It's virtually got no seeds in, no plants in it at the moment because I've just planted out the Shute Street planter boxes down in Diamond Creek, and I've finished planting out in my garden. So there's a lonely leek and some parsley, and there should be a piece of garlic. And I've planted some slips of sweet potato there. I'm not sure if they'll survive the winter, but we'll probably move them somewhere warmer a little bit shortly. Over the back is a different sort of wicking bed. Now this wicking bed is half a 200-litre drum, and it's just got bits of plants that I didn't have other homes for. The only thing new in there is cornflower. It's just starting. And this is the same wicking bed. You can see the hole there at the side. All my wicking beds are basically the same design. There's scoria at the base as a water reservoir. Then I've got geotex and as a barrier, and above that soil and compost. So I don't have any, I water these ones from the top because they're fairly small and I ran out of pipe, and it works the way I do it. Over the back I have the 1,000-litre cut in half. There's big squares that you see. Now we did exactly what we were told to do via Gardening Australia. Once again, it's scoria, geotex and soil. That's my onion bed. I think there's 70 plants of onion, and up the side I've got some silver beet. The frame over the top my husband made out of, I think most of that's an old play set, and the top part is a bit more modern. It's got some sort of computer racking system for the part above it. So they're two sorts, and then I've got the baths. Now the baths and the wash troughs are all designed pretty much the same. What you do is you get your pipe and you turn it upside at the hole, the outlet. You put your pipe upside down and glue it in position up into the bath or wash trough. Fill the scoria up to the top of the pipe and make sure that it doesn't get blocked, because otherwise you can end up with a bath full of water and not a lot of things enjoying it. This year I've decided that I would do square foot gardening, and I just laid out these posts here just to show what I mean by square foot. It's my square foot, it's an estimate. The middle bit is my 6 inches, or you can convert that to 30 centimetres for the big squares and 15 for the small rectangles. So the new plants are planted pretty much as a mosaic or a patchwork. So each square foot has got a number of seeds and seedlings in them, and this is easily found on the internet. If you just look up square foot gardening, you can find all sorts of information. So that's about that. Over here I have some leftover plants in the bathtub that we had to pull apart because the frame was going a bit wonky. I'll be sharing out those plants later. I think the rhubarb here is going to go to Hurstbridge Hub, and the passion fruit's going to go to Beales Road. Not sure about the rest. So we move on to the plant that's got the leftover of summer in it. I've still got some beans that I want to pick. I'll be picking shortly to dry for next year. And it's a bit late in the season actually. This was my Malabar climbing spinach. I had wanted to grow it as a windbreak, but it spent the whole of the hot season at about 10 centimetres tall, and as soon as it cooled down it started climbing up its climbing frame. And over here I have, this is a combination of square foot gardening and a row and a bit of a leftover from summer. And these bigger beds have got a pipe, an inlet pipe, which we leave covered, because otherwise you get mosquitoes in there. And along here, there's the last one, which I've still got a little bit of summer in. I haven't pulled all the beans out because I'm waiting for some of them to go to seed as well. They're drying out nicely, they're probably ready to come out, but in the meantime I've planted brassicas. And a broad bean put itself up here, so I've used the string that I had the tomatoes growing up to support it. And that's the end of my annual garden beds. Here at the end, as a windbreak, I have a peach tree. It's an early peach. It's a lovely fruiting tree. And pomegranate, which is a very pretty bright green tree, hardy as. It hardly gets watered at all out there, just when it looks really unhappy. I've got two of those. They are also there as windbreaks. And further down at ground level, I'm to try to prevent too many weeds coming up. I've got rocket and parsley growing there very healthily. And here's some rocket that's in seed, so I've got something for my beneficial insects to eat. And that's pretty much the end of the tour. So I hope you enjoyed it.